Alright, so today we are going to talk about multiplying and dividing decimals. So let's start off talking about multiplying. So if you look here really quickly at one of these problems, you'll see that it's not like adding or subtracting where you have to line up the decimals. In fact, we're going to multiply just like we normally would, except the tricky part is figuring out how many decimal places are in the answer. That is, how many numbers are after the decimal. So what we do is we count the decimal places in the numbers being multiplied together to find the number of decimal places in the answer. So if you'll look at this first one, we've got 1, 2 numbers after the decimal. So there's 2 decimal places here. Oops, that's hard to see. Let me find a different color. Just a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so 1, 2 decimal places there, and 1 decimal place here. That means there are 3 decimal places in the answer. When I was a kid, what I learned to do was to count from one decimal to the next. So 1, 2, 3 decimal places, because there's 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimals in the numbers being multiplied. And then we just multiply like we normally would. Okay, 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 3 is 27. I'm sorry, 24. Plus 3 gives me 27. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 2 is 58. And 8 times 5 is 40, plus 5 is 45. Okay, put the 0 down here. 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, add them up. 2, 7 plus 4, 11. 1 plus 8, 9, plus 3 is 12. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 7 is 13. And 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10. Okay, so there's our answer. Again, 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimals. In the problem, that means we have 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal in the answer. And again, when we count from the end and we move to the left. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. Because there, again, are 1, 2, 3 decimal places in the numbers being multiplied. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, so before I do this, let's take a look at it for a minute and try to figure out how many decimal places are going to be in the answer. I'll let you think about that before I answer it. I'll give you a few seconds here. So again, how many decimal places will be in the answer? Alright, well hopefully you'll notice that there are 1, 2, 3 numbers here, 1, 2 numbers here, so there will be 5 total decimal places in the answer. And we'll go over that again here as we work it out. So we'll just multiply like we normally do. 2 times 8 is 16, 1 up here, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13, 2 times 4, 8, plus 1 is 9, and 2 times 1 is 2. Remember, start off the next row with a 0. And we're just multiplying by 1, so I'm going to get 8, and then 6, and then 4, and then 1. So 2 zeros in that one. Now we multiply by 3. 3 times 8 is 24, so 2 up here. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20, 2 up here. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Alright, look at that. Okay, so we're going to add them up here. 6, 11, let's see, 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 4 is 20, so a 2 up here. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8, 1 plus 4 is 5, and a 4. Okay, again, so one more time. Let's go over how many decimal places are in the answer. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the problem. So 5 numbers after the decimals in the problem. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places in our answer. So the answer is, let me just write it here, 4.58016. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places in the answer. Okay, well there's multiplying. So now, again, I hope that's all right. Let's take a look at some division. Just a second here. Okay, so here's dividing. And just like multiplying, where we multiplied like we've always done with our multiplication algorithm, we're going to use the division algorithm exactly the same way, except there's one little catch, and that is that we can only divide by a whole number when we use this algorithm. Okay, so I've got 3.4 here. So what I'm going to do is I want to make that 34, and I'm going to move my decimal one place over there. Okay, so that's changing the problem a little bit, so I got to change it in here also to make sure everything works out okay. So I'm going to move this decimal one place also to right there. So I moved it one place here, move it one place there, move it to the right. Okay, so remember when we divide, we put our decimal just straight up above wherever it is in the problem, and we're going to divide like we usually do. Okay, so except now I'm dividing by 34. So does 34 go into 1? No. 34 go into 19? No. Does 34 go into 193? Well, yes. Let's see. So how many times? I think I'm going to take a guess here. I think it's 6 times. So 34 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 is 204. Oh, that's too big. So I guess it's 5. 34 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2, 170. Okay, cool. So 170, subtract, I got 23 and an 8. Oops, I forgot to write the 5 up here. Okay, well how many times does 34 go into 238? Well, look at this I did over here. I got it, I guessed wrong the first time, but it's going to help me figure out how many times 34 goes into 238, because 6 34s is 204. So that means that 7 34s is going to be 238, and I'll just work it out here. 7 times 4 is 28. 2 up here, 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 238. So it matches 7 here. Take away 238, and I'm done. I don't need to add any more zeros or anything. I'm finished. The answer is 5.7. Okay, let's look at one more. Okay, 2.75 divided into 48. Okay, so 48 divided by 2.75. So again, I need to divide only by a whole number. So I'm going to move it 2 places here to make it 275. So where's the decimal with the 48? Well, it's a whole number, so the decimal's at the end. I moved it 2 places here. I have to move it 2 places there. What am I going to do? I got to fill something in those places, and that is going to be a 0. So let me make my decimal place a little bit bigger, and then we'll fill in some zeros. So now this is 275 into 4,800. Decimal places here, move it straight up, and we'll just divide away. 275 going to 4, no. 48, no. Into 480, yes, one time. So I'm going to take away 275. And 7, 10 minus 5 is 5, 0, 205, so 2,050. Wow, so how many 275s is that? I'm going to guess 6. So let's see, 275 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30, 3 up here, 6 times 7, 42 plus 3 is 45, 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16. Well, I didn't guess enough, did I? Look at that. So let's try 7 times. I think that's going to do it. 275 times 7, 5. 349 plus 3 is 52. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 5 is 1,925. So that's going to work. 1925. Okay, I'll take away. Got to do some regrouping here. 10 minus 5 is 5. These are going to take a little while. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 10 minus 9 is 1. Okay, so I did 1 0 here, second 0 here. Looks like I need to, oh, I forgot to write the 7. Sorry about that. I need to add a 0. Drop it down. So how many 275s into 1250? Well, 6 is too big, 7's too big. I think it's 4. 275 times 4. These problems can take a little bit of work sometimes. 4 times 7 is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 2 is 30. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3, 11. So 1100. Put the 4 up here. Okay, 0, 5, 1. Okay, well, I'm not done yet. Something tells me I'm going to be going on this one for a while. Add a 0, drop it down. 1500. Okay, well, 4 275s was 1100. So I can get another one in there. 275 times 5. A lot of work. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2. And 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3, 13. Okay, here we go. 1375. Okay, 5 goes there. Alright, lots of regrouping. 10. Thank you for being patient. This is a long one. 4, that's a 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Uh-oh. I think I see something. If I were to add another 0, check that out. I got 1250 again. Okay, well, that was a 4. Okay, and that is going to be 1100. Okay, when I minus those, I get 150, which was what I had here. If I add another 0, okay, this was 1500. I know it's a little hard to read now, but I would do 5 times and get 1375. When I minus those, I'm going to get 125 again, which is what I had here, which is what I had here. And you may notice at this point that the pattern just keeps repeating over and over. And if you wanted, you could divide this problem out for the rest of your life, and you would just get this same repeating pattern. I suggest you don't do that. So once you notice that the numbers start to repeat, you stop. And if you'll remember, what we do is we draw a line over the numbers that repeat after the decimal. So here the 45 repeats, 45, 45, 45 if I kept going. So we put a line over the 45. And our answer is 17.45, where the 0.45 repeats over and over and over and over again. Okay, that was a lot of work for one problem. Eventually you get older, you get to use a calculator, and you never have to do this again, except if you become a math teacher. Alright folks, thank you very much, and I hope this makes sense, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. Thank you.